on our link for 10K all the time. So, I mean,
Where do we use it?
where we use it to refer to Srila Prabhupada, and sometimes we use it to refer to the initiators who are not authorized.
Well, we're supposed to call them initiators or unnecessary initiators. There's no reason to call them gurus because they're not gurus. Why should we lie to the public by calling them gurus?
Yeah, someone suggested Prabhupada. Well, like the word guru we have discussed means that anyone who's higher than you in knowledge. So that person can be a guru. So the word guru can be used.
But that has to be contextualized. That a person that's never entered a temple, that's learned to chant Hare Krishna, goes somewhere and teaches even the trees and the plants and the people around to hear the Hare Krishna mantra because he just heard it from somebody, and he may not even be a vegetarian, then he's guru. But without the distinction, then the word guru falls into a cliched category of Hindu. Hindus believe in gurus, not Vaishnavas. Guru ends with Prabhupada. I would not even say Prabhupada is guru. He's a spiritual preceptor. And to call him guru is just to throw him into with the Hindus. Don't you think? Why do we want to talk about gurus? All we do is create problems for ourselves. The minute we mention the word guru, there's a controversy. If we mention Prabhupada's mission, how can they have a controversy?
Yeah, that's a very good observation. Yes, whenever you
just stay away from jokes, sarcasm, bitter comments, and the use of the word guru.
Jai, okay.
If you want to say unnecessary gurus, that's one context, but it'd be better to say Kanistha initiators. Because they are Kanistha initiators, that's it, that's all they are. And the Nectar of Instruction warns us against Kanistha or Madhyam initiators.
Yes, that's there, Nectar of Instruction. Verse
so we should bring it down to that level, because otherwise we're just dealing on the same horizontal plane that everybody else is dealing on, which is Kanistha Adhikari, good and bad in the Kanistha war field. Because if we say guru and Kanistha Adhikari guru or something like that, then we're simply playing their game. Why should we play their game? We want them to play our game.
Right. So
otherwise we're just another bunch of kids throwing rocks at a train going by.
So how should we proceed? When we just skip the word guru, or we say Prabhupada?
Well, what are we going to talk about guru about? What is our business to even mention guru? Why do we need to mention guru?
Well, people will ask questions about it.
Yeah,
and
that's why.
We can answer their question. But we don't introduce the word guru into the conversation.
Well, Prabhupada used the word guru.
Supposing somebody brings up, well, what do you think about ISKCON gurus? I said, well, everyone in ISKCON, as far as, do you know anyone in ISKCON that's not a Kanistha Adhikari? We can ask them. And they say, well, I don't know. And I said, but in the Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami, speaking for Rupa Manjari, the top person one of the top people in the spiritual sky, says that the Kanistha Adhikari cannot become a guru. So do they have proof that they are beyond Kanistha Adhikari? And if so, what is that proof? And that is all without, I didn't mention, I think, the word guru once in reference to that. If I did, it was by mistake. See, if a person wants to be an initiator, if a Kanistha Adhikari wants to initiate, he cannot do that according to Rupa Goswami.
You're saying they cannot do it or they can do it, but they will be giving
Rupa
insufficient.
Goswami says they cannot, well, says that there's no benefit. They can do it, but there's no benefit to be derived from it.
Insufficient guidance, yes.
Yeah, insufficient means not sufficient.
Right. Not enough.
Not enough.
Yes. Okay.
So I would say let's avoid the topic of guru. And while we're on that joking thing you sent out, was it you that sent out something about some Muslim kid that was screaming that he didn't want to have his teeth pulled out?
No, that was not me.
Wasn't it? It was a horrible thing.
Well, what did they send out? Muslim teeth?
I don't know where it came from. I thought it was on the same page.
No.
Talk about the guru.
I posted that video of Satsarup. You probably saw that, right? Satsarup saying
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't recognize him. He looked so different than he used to. But you know, he suffered from a brain problem. He gets beyond impossible headaches.
Right.
So he can barely walk.
Yeah, he was mentioning.
Because if he tries to walk, he gets a splitting headache.
Right.
But it was interesting what he said. That he said that he felt that, what did he say? Didn't he say that he felt that their experiment fell short?
Basically, he said,
Well, basically, what does it mean, basically?
we tried to be gurus, and he said we tried to be successive gurus or whatever he was saying, and we failed very badly.
So that should be a clear statement, no?
Yeah, very clear
Does
statement.
that mean that he has renounced being a successor guru, the attempted successor guru, or is he keeping on going, just saying that he's failing?
Let's actually pull up the video and see what he exactly says, so we can.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
It will be very clear. Okay, another video.
So if we publish that statement by Satsarup, can't we also publish the quote of Rupa Goswami?
Yeah, we'll do that after we watch this video. 1 second.
Yeah, so that it makes sense. We're not just making fun of him or going, ha ha, I told you so, but we're pointing out that Rupa Goswami made a very clear statement on the topic.
Yes. 1 second. Share sound. All right. Can everyone see? All right, I'll play the video then.
I can see, yes.
Okay.
But by following his example, and part of it, what more can we do? Is we've flopped as trying to be gurus or trying to carry out any imitation of his presence, but
What's that word? Imitation?
remembrance
Yes.
in itself is a big thing.
Imitation. You want to see it again?
Yeah.
But, by following his example,
That's good example.
and part of it, what more can we do? Is we've flopped as trying to be gurus or trying to carry out any imitation of his presence, but remembrance in itself is a big thing. But
What's the big thing?
by
Remembrance.
following his
Remembrance.
Remembrance?
example,
Yeah.
part of it, what more can we do? We've flopped as trying to be gurus or trying to carry out any imitation of his presence, but remembrance in itself is a big thing.
Okay. So let me pull up.
I can't believe he admitted all that.
You never saw that? It's been a very
No.
old. Well.
That's an old video?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
From what year?
I'll have to look it up, but I've had it on my channel for, I don't know, 4 years now.
Okay, well, we should find out when he recorded it And so we can say as far back as that, but he did not quote the Nectar of Instruction.
Exactly. I'm putting it up on the screen right now.
I mean, if he's saying they tried to remember Prabhupada, remembering Prabhupada, of course, is vital. But then the question of becoming a quote unquote guru, that is not part of it, because it's the Nectar of Instruction says clearly that it's a waste of time.
All right, I have it pulled up here. Okay. Rupa Manjari Prabhu, can you read?
Sure.
Yeah.
In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanistha Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnav can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnav or a Vaishnav situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as a spiritual master.
Jai.
Okay, so why not publish that under that video, and
Yes.
then also state where did any of the those who chose to initiate in ISKCON, where did they establish themselves, or when and where did they establish themselves as Uttama Adhikari, according to the direction of Rupa Goswami, who is none other than Rupa Manjari of the Krishna Loka planet.
Yeah.
They have to start tearing down the walls.
Jai. Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari.
Yes.
The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. It's very interesting.
Yeah, you could put in parentheses a devotee, and then put in parentheses one who is aspiring to become a initiating quote unquote guru. Say the word guru, it must be quote unquote when we say it, We can't give the word guru any legs.
Yeah. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttam Adhikari as a spiritual master. That's pretty clear. That
Yes.
it's no doubt without a fact that Prabhupada is.
So when the Rupa Goswami says that the devotee should know his own position,
Yes.
I think he is not so much warning against taking a guru as becoming one.
Yeah. His own position, right? And should not try to imitate a devotee
Well, it's
situation.
very easy to understand why devotees disciples of Prabhupada would be confused on these issues. First of all, Prabhupada had a whole bunch of godbrothers that were initiating. And then we could say the Sampradaya has to continue. That could be said if there is merit to its continuing. But I mean, that would be like, why doesn't the Sampradaya continue past the golden age of Kali? There's no point in it. There is not going to be any acharyas after the 10,000 years of golden age of Kali. So why are we concerned about during the golden age of Kali when it is about becoming apparent there's nothing to do in the golden age of Kali except chant Hare Krishna? What does the Guru supply that is not already supplied by Lord Chaitanya through Srila Prabhupada? Lord Chaitanya originally, and then through Srila Prabhupada. What has not been supplied? What needs to be known? Okay, well, we don't know anything about Krishna. Don't know anything. I never heard the name Krishna. I don't know anything about Krishna. Did he live on earth? What did he do? Read the Bhagavad Gita, read the Srimad Bhagavatam, read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then realize you don't need a guru. That is your guru.
Right.
Does that work?
Yeah. Very simple.
What do you think, Rupa Manjari Prabhu?
Makes sense.
Huh?
If it doesn't make sense,
Our preaching should be tight to the bone. In other words, we don't need to talk about what people are doing here or there. We don't have to talk about others. We don't have to point out that they're bona fide or not bona fide. We just talk about what is bona fide. And if we talk about what is bona fide, then it becomes clear that nobody is qualified to be a Diksha Guru. Right?
Jai, yes.
Why didn't Krishna pounce on that?
What did you say? Krishna what?
Krishna Kant, back to Prabhupada magazine and the final order. Why didn't he put that in the final order?
Don't know.
Well, we don't know. But the one thing we do know is that he had in his head an idea that if those 11 had remained Ritviks, everything would have worked out fine for ISKCON. But he didn't deal with the main distinction as to what's the difference between a Ritvik, so-called Ritvik, or a ISKCON guru. He could not find. If he didn't put out that they have to be an Uttama Adhikari, then, how are they going to say that somebody like Tamal who's poisoning his Prabhupada, or Satsarup who's actively homosexual and pedophilic, how can we say that they are Uttama Adhikaris? Obviously there are cults all over the world where some guy becomes a Uttama Adhikari to his disciples and he has sex with all his female disciples and puts branding irons on them and forces them to do this and the other thing. But that's not our process. We don't even accept the Rasa Lila as topic for our ears. What to speak of turning female disciples into female, becoming a bogus sadomasochistic guru and then making the female disciples into sex slaves. That's not what we're into. So if you're going to have Kirtananda being a Ritvik, or what, Rupa, what is Prabhupada's term for the Ritvik?
Officiating Acharya.
Yeah, if Kirtananda is going to be an officiating Acharya, how do we get past the fact that he's not qualified even to take first initiation? Right?
Yes.
Well, he took initiation, he took second initiation, he's done all these pujas, he knows all the language, he knows everything. And and he's given people, he's taken sannyas, he's given people sannyas. What do you mean? He's not, he doesn't follow the four regulative principles. Then what separates him from all of those other cult leaders that I just was mentioning that have sex slave disciples of both genders, perhaps? What is the difference between him and them, considering the four regulative principles have to be there even to take first initiation? Right?
Right.
Well, So I think we need to concentrate, focus in on the fact that we should, can we make or get a transcript of such Rupa's statement?
Which statement? The one he just made today in this video, or the one we saw?
Are there others?
I'll have to look. I don't remember where I got it from, but I'll have to look in the archives.
Yeah, well, it's not very complicated. I should think that, aren't there programs that will take spoken words and type them out for you?
Yeah, they have it.
It would be useful for us to have that, because then anytime somebody makes a statement, all we have to do is plug it in and it'll come out and type. Then we have to edit the absurdities of the type, and then we have the statement.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very simple, right? Yeah. He said this on 2 different occasions. There's another video where he was talking about a similar thing where they were unqualified to be representatives of Srila Prabhupada, as they were called.
Well, not everybody's qualified to be a representative of Prabhupada.
As a successor Acharya.
No, that's different.
Yeah. Yeah. He was talking in that context.
Now we have to make the distinction. Everyone is qualified to represent Prabhupada. Anything he said, we can repeat it, can't we? What did Prabhupada say that we cannot repeat?
I am a Uttamadhikari and you are not.
Yeah, well, something like that, of course.
But the rest of the stuff we can repeat. I'm not this body. I'm spirit soul. You should worship Krishna. You should chant Hare Krishna. You should follow the regulated principles.
Yeah, but even all of that stuff is not really necessary to discuss. You can read it. Why do you have to discuss it? You're going to read that in Prabhupada's writing, and then you're going to have a big meeting to decide whether or not that's what he said. You don't have to discuss anything that is discussed in a temple.
Yeah.
From that point of view of being a guru of some sort, the quote-unquote guru of some sort. What we can discuss in the temple, you know, even in the temple, no one's going to sit on a asana, Vyasasana or other asana, or on his asana, on his own asana. No one is going to sit there telling you you have to follow the 4 regulated principles. The temple commander tells you that when you come in the door saying, I want to join your society here. He said, yes, but do you know about the 4 regulated principles? No, what are they? Well, and he will relate them. Really? Well, can you do those? Well, I'll give it a try for 6 months and let's see how it goes. So that's fair enough. If after 6 months you don't want to do it, you don't have to stay. But if you want to stay, then do it. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, simple.
So you don't need to you don't need a guru or a quote unquote guru, a Kanista Adhikari sitting on a Vyasasan telling people to follow the 4 regulated principles. I mean, if you want to hear, and also practically every lecture Prabhupada gives, you can get it online and run it through your headset.
Right. Yes, that will bypass everything. You know, you go straight to the source.
Yeah, why not? I mean, what are we going to say? Prabhupada's recordings are so yesterday.
Yeah. No,
What
but
are
you
we
need
going to say?
you need me to explain it to you. That's what they will say. I will tell you how to understand it.
Yes. What, you know, because you're a living quote unquote guru? Yes. Okay, first, prove that you're alive.
Right.
You look pretty spaced out to me. And if you're saying that you can equal Srila Prabhupada in the way he spoke without me listening to a recording of him, means that you're pretty gonzo. Where do you get that idea? Where do you get the idea that the tape recording of the guru is not as good as the guru? Well, no, you have to have a living guru. Then what about the statement of Thakur Bhaktivinoda that when thou art living still and sound, and he didn't have a tape recorder? I mean, it's very easy for us to hear Thakur Bhaktivinoda's statement. Oh yes, he reasons also say Vaishnavas die when thou art living still and sound. Vaishnavas die to live, and living spread the holy life around. Except one little detail. We have iPhones and headphones and computers and recordings and DVDs all programmed into our brain. We can't even imagine what he was talking about. Can we? So when our living soul and soul, well, that makes sense. You just go to the ISKCON, database, and you can download it. What he was saying. No, there was no tape recorders back then. Yeah.
No tape recorders. You got it.
Yes. So now I would like to propose that we narrow down everything we're doing to the lowest common denominator. If we have to mention the word guru, make it quote unquote guru. Never leave off the quote unquote, because quote unquote means you say guru, but I am just simply referring guru because you said so, not because I accept it. Quote unquote means it's a quote.
Yeah, the language has to be very precise. You're right. Everything must be done in a scientific and Prabhupada conscious way. How Prabhupada presents. So you're right on that.
Could you repeat what you just said?
I said everything we have to do, or we present, or we talk, must be very precise.
Yes.
If we use the word guru, it can mean 10, 20 different things to the ISKCON people. But when we use it, we should use it in the context that Prabhupada used it. The nectar of instruction.
Yes. So guru is described there 3 times, and only one of the 3 is considered guru. The rest are quote unquote gurus.
Right. Insufficient. Yes.
Insufficient. Well, guru, the word guru and insufficient are oxymorons.
Right.
You cannot say guru and insufficient in the same sentence.
Yeah, that makes it no guru. No.
Yes. What does Rupa Goswami say there? Does he mention Kanishta Guru or Madhyam Guru?
No, I say Kanishta Adhikari. Adhikari means qualification.
Or your platform.
Or platform, yes.
Kanishta Adhikari means you are on the horizontal platform known as Kanishta. Madhyam Adhikari means on the transitory platform approaching vertical. And Uttama Adhikari means having attained or descended from the vertical platform of Krishna Loka in your rasa, your kinetic rasa with Krishna, not a presumptive connection with Krishna that you're going to die and go to heaven or something. No, you have to be in your rasa with Krishna to be the Uttama Adhikari. And the chances of becoming a guru after attaining the Uttama Adhikari platform is remote, because the guru typically descends from Krishna Loka, not ascends to Krishna Loka, then starts taking disciples down here.
Okay, Uttamadakari refers to as the topmost devotee. Right
Yeah.
here.
So this is just like that conversation which we love, and which I named my son, what Rupa Madhya and I've named our son after, which is the Anyabhalasha Bij is horizontal. The Kanistadhikari is a transcendentalized Anyabhalasha Bij, because the Anyabhalasha Bij doesn't necessarily involve following the four regulated principles or anything else for that matter. It's just a level of, it could include those things, but
So
it's
here's
not specifically a Kanista Adhikari platform. It is specifically a platform which may be a material platform, not necessarily Kanista. Although I could be wrong. Maybe Lord Chaitanya saw it as the Kanista Adhikari platform. Then Jnana Karma is the intermediary platform. And that is the platform which one must get to, not jnana and not karma, but to get to the platform between Kanistadhikari and Uttamadhikari, there has to be that transitory place. And whether that's jnana karma, which I doubt it would be called that, or it is called Madhyamadhikari, which I think is accurate. Then, when Lord Chaitanya was pleased by Lord Ramananda Rai, who said, what about the Bhakti Lata Bij, which is vertical? Therefore, that vertical Bij is actually, it would seem, to be the platform from which you begin the Madhyamadhikari platform, in which you, when it is fully present, you end up in your rasa with Krishna. That seems to be obvious. So the Jnana Karma doesn't come into play, but the Madhyamadhikari would be, the Madhyamadhikari is the Bhakti Lata Bij. That has to be. And then as the Bhakti Lata Bij develops, it will end up as the Uttamadhikari. But we know the process through the Madhyamadhikari is clearly described by Srila Prabhupada, how it actually operates and how you actually get there and what you actually do to get there, and how Krishna aids you in getting there via Paramatma who's guiding you there. The same Paramatma that teaches the maggot to eat dead flesh is teaching the Bhakti person in the Bhakti Lata Bij to develop pure, unalloyed love of God as a resident of Krishna Loka, not as a purified Kanista Adhikari worshipping the deity as Vishnu.
Jai.
Okay.
Okay, here's a very interesting verse from the Chaitanya Chaitamrita. Here it says, quote, one should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods, unquote.
Yes.
Let's see.
But interestingly, they've done the opposite. They honor Prabhupada the way it's described, but then they want to say that they, me too.
Yeah.
They include themselves at the top of the ice cream cone in terms of sprinkles and a cherry.
This is very interesting, this verse here, huh?
Yes.
To disrespect him in any way, it says right here. One should know the Acharya. One should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods, unquote.
Yes, to say the least.
Yeah.
Because the demigods cannot attain what the spiritual master can attain, has attained. Didn't I give an example one time of a fantasy experience I had of being on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada, chanting, and everybody's fanned out from Prabhupada, the way you see in the pictures. And we're walking along and Prabhupada is talking and everything like that. And everyone's focused on Srila Prabhupada. And then all of a sudden I look up and I see that we're no longer on the beach or in the park. We're in a place filled with gorgeous palaces. Somehow we have come to Indraloka. And I'm looking around and I'm astonished because Prabhupada is continuing to walk. Disciples are continuing to walk. Nobody's noticed except me. I only say I noticed because I'm the one that noticed. And then out come the demigods headed by Indra, and they fall down at Srila Prabhupada's feet. And then the other devotees look around and have heart attacks because they cannot believe, how did Prabhupada qualify to be in Indraloka? But we know him as the little old guy from Bengal who was living in a fairly rundown quarters in the temple room, and above the temple room in his quarters. How can we reconcile?
You can't. You reconcile.
Well, we can, because we can say that the Prabhupada that is in the rundown, when I say rundown, I say not equal to Indraloka palace. In the simple abode in his temple, he's the same person as he would be in Indraloka. Not one bit of difference. He would not give more respect to Indra than he gives to a Malacha who wants to chant Hare Krishna. He would actually give more respect to Indra, but not core respect, not jiva to jiva respect. Because Prabhupada, as a liberated soul, as an acharya, would be giving recognition to Indra and his followers and the plants and the vegetables and the animals and the grass and the trees of Indraloka the same respects that he would give you, me, or the plants on his morning walk in a city in Los Angeles or Berlin or India or anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
So Prabhupada doesn't change. What changes is our stupidity in thinking Prabhupada is part and parcel of being in this material world. We know he's transcendental, but he's here, isn't he? So what if he was in Indraloka and we were with him? How embarrassing for us when we realized that Prabhupada doesn't act any differently with the demigods than he does with us. That's what's known as transcendental. Right?
Jai. Transcendental.
How can we equate Prabhupada with planet Earth and earthly beings? There's only one way that we can that's authentic. And that is simply based on the fact that all living beings are part and parcel of Krishna. Indra, you, me, the ant, the maggot eating stool, eating dead flesh, the blade of grass. Each jiva is equal to every other jiva because there's no jiva that is less than part and parcel of Krishna. And there's no jiva that's more than part and parcel of Krishna. Demigod simply has fancier dress, a more purified mind, greater cosmic responsibilities, and hopefully better etiquette, usually. But it is not to say that the jiva of the Lord Brahma, let's say the jiva of Lord Indra is he better or worse than you are, Ramachandra Prabhu?
The jiva is the
Would you-
same, part and parcel of Krishna.
The
Yes.
same, yes, exactly.
The responsibility might be different.
We have to know that. We have to preach that.
Yeah.
All these ISKCON unnecessary quote unquotes are trying to establish that someone is greater than someone else. And that is why they are incapable of preaching to the grass on the lawn or the plants in the garden. If these so-called superior dudes, the you know what, if they cannot offer their obeisances, even as Prabhupada said, offer their obeisances even to an ant, then what sort of quote unquote are they? What do they claim? That they're superior to the ant? If they say, no, I'm not superior to the ant, then I say, demonstrate that in your daily life. Show me, show all of us that you see the ant as equal to everyone else, including that wealthy Gujarati who's going to give $100,000. To you.
Right.
So can we take that up as our mission? Equality.
On the level of the soul.
That's the only equality there is.
Yeah.
Any other equality is artificial.
Yeah, because people's karmas are different. So they've been given a specific responsibility or body.
Anyone with any karma is a jiva, but we cannot offer them the respects that we can offer. We can offer them respects as the jiva that they are.
Part and parcel, yes.
Yes, because they're part and parcel of Krishna, but we cannot offer them respects according to their karma or their bodily manifestation or
Yes.
their wealth or
Yes.
whatever else they've got.
Unless, yes.
There's nothing we can do to honor someone more than spirit soul. If you can honor somebody only as spirit soul, then they can listen to you for spiritual guidance. But that still does not make a person an Uttama Adhikari. It just means that they're finally getting the point of where Madhyama Adhikari is headed. Kanista Adhikari starts just after following the four regulative principles and continues until you want to know who you are in your eternal rasa with Krishna. Not because you want to have that like a medal on your chest, but because you want to be able to serve Krishna and give him absolute pleasure yourself. Not because you're a member of a group, not because you belong to this temple or that temple or this caste or that caste or this gotra or that gotra. That's not the point. The point is you want to show, you want to share with Krishna pure, unalloyed love of God. And it does not originate with Krishna. Pure, unalloyed love of God does not originate with Lord Krishna. It originates with the jiva. It originates with you. There is no other source of bhakti except you. We are confused. We think, oh, Krishna is looking at us. He's very kind to us. He really wants us. Prabhupada did say that the Krishna, if you commit an offense to the spiritual master, it's the worst thing you can do. the bona fide spiritual master, I should say, meaning the Uttamadhikari spiritual master. He said, but if you're trying to redeem yourself, Krishna will help you do that. He doesn't curse you down to everlasting hell by committing offense to the spiritual master. And that's why I know with a certainty that all those people that poison Prabhupada will eventually be returned to Srila Prabhupada after having passed through the necessary births as a laughing stock for thinking that they can murder an Uttama Adhikari who is not subject to repeated birth and death in reality. You know what the sadhu said to the Paramahansa, you may live or you may die. If you live, you're in perfect consciousness. If you die, you'll take another birth, perfect consciousness. So having thought that they can kill a pure devotee makes them a laughing stock. Oh, they will suffer, no doubt. The flames of hell will get to taste their karma. But in reality, people will point at them and say, what fools these are to think they can actually murder an Uttama Adhikari. Because Haridas Thakur said, if my being alive for a minute is causing you distress, then I will die immediately. And he fell into a trance on the ground. Being Lord Brahma, he fell into a trance that made his body quite heavy, even though he's little and skinny. And when they tried to pick him up to throw him into Ganges to curse his dead body to everlasting torment, because if you throw a Muslim into the river, the soul will never know peace, no rest. They couldn't lift him.
Okay, Jai. I wanted to read this here.
Okay, good.
See, this is talking about.
But the last thing I would say is, can we go on a diet of not mentioning quote unquotes as you know what?
Yes. Let's use the word here that it says here.
Yes, okay. Go ahead.
Yes, the spiritual master is also called the Acharya, or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. The Manu Samhita 2:140 explains the duties of an Acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts charge of disciples, teaches them the Vedic knowledge with all its intricacies, and gives them their second birth. The ceremony performed to initiate a disciple into the study of spiritual science is called, what is it called? Upanti, or the function that brings one nearer to the spiritual master.
No, I'm sorry, it's Upaniti.
Upaniti, okay.
There's an accent over this.
Or the function that brings one nearer to the spiritual master. One who cannot be brought nearer to a spiritual master cannot have a sacred thread, and thus he is identified to be a Shudra. The sacred thread on the body of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya is a symbol of initiation by the spiritual master. It is worth nothing if worn merely to boast of high parentage. The duty of the spiritual master is to initiate a disciple with the sacred thread ceremony, and after this samskara or purificatory process, the spiritual master actually begins to teach the disciple about the Vedas. Okay, Mahaprabhu is coming in. Where is that?
Jai Mahaprabhu.
All right, I'll continue. A spiritual master who is duly authorized to award a disciple the right to be a Brahmana if he finds him perfectly qualified. In the Vayu Purana, an acharya is defined as one who knows the import of all Vedic literature, explains the purpose of the Vedas, abides by their rules and regulations, and teaches his disciples to act in the same way. Only out of his immense compassion does the personality of Godhead reveal himself as the spiritual master. Therefore, in the dealings of an acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. It is worthwhile to take shelter of such a steady devotee who is called Ashraya Vigraha, or the manifestation of the form of the Lord, of whom one must take shelter. If one poses himself as an acharya, but does not have an attitude of servitorship to the Lord, he must be considered an offender, and this offensive attitude disqualifies him from being an acharya. The bona fide spiritual master always engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By this test, he is known to be a direct manifestation of the Lord and a genuine representative of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Such a spiritual master is known as Acharya Dev. Influenced by an envious temperament and dissatisfied because of an attitude of sense gratification, mundaners criticize a real acharya. In fact, however, a bona fide acharya is not different from the personality of Godhead, and therefore to envy such an acharya is to envy the personality of Godhead himself. This will produce an effect subversive of transcendental realization. As mentioned previously, a disciple should always respect the participant. No, as mentioned previously, a disciple should always respect the spiritual master as a manifestation of Sri Krishna. But at the same time, one should always remember that a spiritual master is never authorized to imitate the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. False spiritual masters pose themselves as identical with Sri Krishna in every respect to exploit the sentiments of their disciples. But such impersonalists can only mislead their disciples, for their ultimate aim is to become one with the Lord. This is against the principles of devotional service.
The devotional cult.
Oh, sorry, devotional cult. Rupa, can you read the last paragraph?
Sure.
Thank you.
The real Vedic philosophy is Achinta Veda Veda Tattva, which establishes everything to be simultaneously one with and different from the personality of Godhead. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami confirms that this is the real position of a bona fide spiritual master, and says that one should always think of the spiritual master in terms of his intimate relationship with Mukunda, Sri Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha 213 has clearly defined that a pure devotee's observation of the spiritual master and Lord Shiva as one with this personality of Godhead exists in terms of their being very dear to the Lord, not identical with him in all respects. Following in the footsteps of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami, later acharyas like Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have confirmed the same truths. In his prayers to the spiritual master, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur confirms that all the revealed scriptures accept the spiritual master to be identical with the personality of Godhead because he is a very dear and confidential servant of the Lord. Gaudiya Vaishnavas therefore worship Srila Gurudev, the spiritual master, in the light of his being the servitor of the personality of Godhead. In all the ancient scriptures of devotional service, and in the more recent songs of Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and other unalloyed Vaishnavas, the spiritual master is always considered either one of the confidential associates of Srimati Radharani or a manifested representation of Srila Nityananda Prabhu.
Jai. Well, the whole thing is summarized, huh? Okay. Narayan Prabhu, Rupa, anything you guys want to share? See.
Yes. What is the scripture from?
This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 1, verse 46. Down here, you see it?
Yes. Is this a purport?
Yes, that was the whole purport.
And what is the verse it is a purport to?
This is chapter 1, verse 46. Adi Leela, chapter 1, verse 46. The spiritual masters. Adi Leela, titled The Spiritual Masters, text 46.
Yeah, one should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods.
So, anyone who's taking initiation from an Uttamadakari, as Srila Prabhupada, that person is the representative of all the demigods. It's saying right here. And how to treat that person is said in this purport, how Srila Prabhupada is. And then Prabhupada ends it with, either the spiritual master is a confidential associate of Srimati Radharani or a manifested representation of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Right here.
When they refer to the Lord, who are they referring to, Hare Krishna?
They're referring to Lord Krishna.
Okay, so Krishna is the Lord.
Krishna is
Yes.
God.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, in the in the Abrahamic religions, there are so many, there are few names or identities attributed to God. But we have to understand that God has unlimited names and unlimited forms. There, by some amazing algorithmic miracle, and I emphasize the word algorithmic, the fact that all attractive captures all of those unlimited, infinite descriptions of God. All attractive means all of them are included.
So the Lord is everybody.
No, the Lord is Krishna.
Yeah, but we have Vishnu.
Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna.
Krishna is superior to Vishnu.
Yes. Same transcendental quality, but of a different potency. Vishnu doesn't play with the coward boys in Krishna Loka. He is worshipped in awe and reverence. Krishna's the highest form of God conceivable because he is worshipped informally between liberated jivas that you are on the track to become in relationship to him in his personal abode, Krishna Loka. You can be a coward boy. You can be a blade of grass. You can be a river. You can be a bird flying through the sky. You can be his mother. You can be so many things in the spiritual sky. So many roles. Okay.
And Srila Prabhupada is the messenger of the Lord.
Well, yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. He's actually descended from Krishna Loka to India for practical reasons, but he is a direct representative of Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself.
The Lord.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Haribol.
All right.
Lord.
Yes.
So
Hari Bol.
one of the things that we gain by seeing Prabhupada as the Acharya and ourselves as not the Acharya, or not even remotely possible to become an Acharya, that liberates us from the need of trying to pretend to be quote unquote you-know-whats. We don't have to pretend. We say, no, we are servants of the Acharya. End of story. Well, how do you continue the line? You continue the line by chanting Hare Krishna. Well, what about Guru giving confidence, giving special? No, there is nothing special. Just chant Hare Krishna.
Jai. Nothing special, just chant Hare Krishna. Jai.
Yes, you don't need anything special. Everyone that's looking, why do people want special? It's because they want to sweeten the deal. It's like a business deal. Oh, I want to buy into this disciple. How can I sweeten the deal? How can I get a special? And if I give money, will I get something special? If I bow down 1,000 times, if I chant 200,000 rounds, will I get something special? No, there's nothing special for you. Special for you is the opportunity to distribute the holy name to every living entity, including those difficult creatures known as human beings.
Jai.
We should not concentrate on human beings, because if we concentrate on them, they're going to think they're special. Right? So why should we concentrate on human beings? If we concentrate on every creature except human beings, when we get someone interested in Krishna consciousness, they will, when they somebody interested in Krishna consciousness, they will do what we say, which is to chant everywhere, not sit down and prepare yourself for me first into Krishna Loka consciousness. Me, Krishna Loka. Well, me doesn't go to Krishna Loka. Me goes to another material birth, doesn't it? Because me is coming from the material body in the Kanistha platform. Body consciousness is there. So by becoming Kanistha, you improve your relationship with the different material planets, but it doesn't transcend them. If you want to transcend them, chant to every living creature, including the material planets. Chant to Vishnu, to Venus, chant to Saturn, chant to the moon, chant to the sun. They will appreciate it, first of all. And second of all, you're not going to get beyond that if, as long as you're a kinesthetic, you're going to take another material birth without question. So if you want to reduce the number of material births you take and increase the quality of material births that you have to take before you become a pure devotee, you know something? I have to take this call. I'll get back on with you, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what I'll do is then we'll end it here. I think we have come to a point, huh, Rupa Manjari Prabhu? We read that verse. I think it's pretty clear. We discussed it very thoroughly. And if anyone has any questions, they can join us for our next meeting on Saturday. And then another meeting will be on Sunday.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you very much to all the devotees for joining. And we'll see you Saturday and Sunday then, Prabhu.